My name is Clara Bennett. I am 28 years old and live in Sunnyside Heights, a cozy little neighborhood where everyone knows each other, or at least pretends to. I always prided myself on being a good neighbor, someone who would help others and maintain a peaceful coexistence with those around me. My house, a quaint two-story with a sunlit front yard, is my sanctuary. However, there is this one glaring problem that tightened around my chest like a vice. My neighbor, Tom, who is in his 30s, lives right next door, and he has a peculiar habit of ignoring all common courtesy. He thinks the rules are like a light switch that needs to be flipped on and off at his convenience, and he has absolutely no respect for personal space or property boundaries. This isn't just an occasional oversight, it's a chronic problem. Tom parks his ancient, crusty silver sedan right in front of my driveway almost every time he comes home. It could be day or night, it simply does not matter to him. Despite my efforts to communicate with him, leaving polite notes, having face-to-face conversations, and even trying the friendly approach of, "Hey man, seriously, could you please stop blocking my driveway?" all of my appeals fell on deaf ears. He claimed innocence, saying, "I am just here for a bit," while completely ignoring the reality that a bit could mean he was parked there for 3 to 5 hours. The audacity. After weeks of frustration, I finally reached a boiling point. I had just come home one warm Tuesday evening after a long day at work. The sun slowly dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange when I spotted his car parked in front of my driveway once again. Just like that, the world felt heavy on my shoulders, and I felt the anger rise up inside me. There he was, through the window of his house, getting ready for a night out. He was spritzing on cologne, checking his style in the mirror, all while blocking my way. I could tell he was preparing for a date, oblivious to the chaos he was causing in my life. That was it. An idea sparked in my mind. Tonight was the night I would finally take action. I decided I had spent way too long trying to play nice. This constant disruption in my life had turned me into a resentful ball of anxiety. My neighbors saw my frustration, and even if they did not say it, they certainly noticed how warmly I treated everyone except Tom. I pulled out my phone, my fingers trembling with excitement and apprehension as I dialed the number for a local towing service. "Yes, I would like to report a car blocking my driveway," I stated firmly, trying to keep my cool. I could almost hear the sigh of relief through the phone on the other side as the tow truck operator assured me they would send someone over. Around 45 minutes later, I took a seat on my porch, a cold beer in my hand, a slight smirk on my face, the perfect blend of anticipation and adrenaline coursing through me. Suddenly, I noticed someone walking down the sidewalk, a woman clearly dressed for a date, her confidence radiating through her outfit. She approached Tom's door, and as he opened it, I could see his smile transform into confusion. He stepped outside just as the reality that his precious car was no longer there crashed down around him. It was a dramatic moment, the chaos unfolding directly in front of my eyes. Tom started to flip out, looking everywhere like a man who had been robbed. Panic spread across his face as he searched for answers while the girl stood there, bewildered. I, of course, casually interjected into the scene, leaning back in my chair, taking a sip of my beer, my tone edged with amusement as I said, "If you were looking for your car, it got towed. You were blocking my driveway, again." He opened his mouth as if to protest, but before he could even form a coherent response, the girl turned to him and asked, "Wait, you parked in front of her driveway?" My heart raced as a burst of excitement filled the air. I watched as Tom's smug facade crumbled. Trying to explain, Tom sputtered, but the girl cut him off, shaking her head. "Wow, that is trash," she stated simply before turning on her heel and walking away. As the girl left, all the bravado Tom had exhibited moments ago faded, and I could barely contain my laughter. This was the poetic justice I had long awaited. Ever since that day, I had not seen him block my driveway once. A sense of satisfaction and peace washed over me, melting away the anger that had festered for weeks. But was this just the calm before the storm? I found myself checking each time I came home, wondering if perhaps he would wade himself back into the waters of ignorance once more. Days turned into weeks, and there was no sign of the return of crusty silver sedan, but I had my guard up. One evening, about a month after my sweet revenge, I was returning from work, already figuring out what to make for dinner when I spotted Tom outside, looking oddly contemplative. I parked up and watched him for a moment. Was he about to attempt some ludicrous maneuver that would block my driveway again? He seemed different. He looked lost in thought, fidgeting with his hands, and then it dawned on me. Had he changed? That night, however, things took an unexpected turn. A couple of neighbors had gathered for a small barbecue, inviting everyone over. I decided to join, knowing it would be a good opportunity to gauge if Tom had undergone a transformation. As I grabbed a plate of food and mingled, I stole glances in his direction. But there he was, standing off to the side, somewhat isolated, but he was smiling and talking to someone. This time, it was not his typical demeanor. Later during the barbecue, as the scent of grilled food wafted in the air, I overheard a conversation between him and a neighboring couple who were enthralled by some funny story he was telling. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. Tom was indeed charming, and as I listened from afar, I noticed people laughing and responding to him with genuine interest. But to my surprise, there were also several people who made comments about his habit of parking where he wanted and how he learned he had made a mistake. His demeanor softened, and he spoke about how the incident with the towing changed his perspective on respecting boundaries. The following weeks passed in a blur of curiosity. Tom transformed from a careless neighbor into a more considerate one. That urge to park wherever he pleased diminished. I will admit it was as if the experience had humbled him. One day, while I was gardening, he approached me, a nervous smile on his face. "Hey Clara, I just wanted to say sorry," Tom said, scratching his head, seemingly unsure of how to navigate this newfound earnestness. "I know I caused a lot of grief blocking your driveway, and I appreciate your tolerance. People appreciate respect. I have learned that now." Sure, he was still a bit brash, but he was slowly moving away from those obnoxious habits that had driven me crazy for so long. I smiled, not entirely sure what to say, but I couldn't resist throwing in, "Well, I appreciate it. Just remember that people have rights to their parking spaces, Tom." We both laughed, and it felt like a breakthrough. As time wore on, I saw a genuine effort from him to amend his behavior. He stopped merely existing in his little world and began participating in the neighborhood community. It was odd but refreshing. Tom even volunteered to help with neighborhood cleanups. I saw how these small adjustments made him earnestly engaged in our community betterment. Maybe there was light at the end of that tunnel after all. It was not long before Tom had earned a reputation of being one of the better neighbors, renowned for helping with landscaping or fixing minor issues for anyone. It seemed that the tales of his past wrongs had cast a shadow that he genuinely did not wish to dwell in. Finally, peace settled over our small corner of Sunnyside Heights. I never would have suspected his transformation would come after such a humorous yet painful pushing down of his prior sense of invincibility. As the seasons changed, that unexpected friendship grew. The final twist of this entire saga left me pondering the nature of revenge and forgiveness. Sometimes, what starts as a chaotic battle for boundaries can evolve into surprising camaraderie. I realize now that while I had sought revenge fiercely, it led me to embrace an unexpected outcome that left us both happier. A quirky, colorful path led to friendship and accountability, and I continually marveled at the complexities of people, including Tom. One thing was for sure, I would always remember the evening I had him towed. It taught me not just about setting boundaries, but also about the potential for change in unexpected places.